questions have you already been asked? There's like, wait, so.
School in Bedford at St. Louis High School, and my grade school was from sub-primary to the 6th grade was at St. Joseph's Elementary, and my junior high was at St. Louis, and then my high school was at St. Louis also.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. What year did you graduate from high school?
1957.
Oh, it's the 50s. Okay. What was your first job in Old Orchard Beach?
I worked for my wife's grandfather, who did everything else.
How much was your pay? Like, how much?
When I first started, when Mr. Bovier paid me $25 a week. That was 7 days a week. Yes, it wasn't very much money, but it got me through.
What other jobs did you have in town?
What other jobs have I had in town here?
Yeah.
I worked for a local electrician, Robert Gerard, who has since passed on, and I joined the fire department in 1971. I retired in 2005, and since 2005, I've worked the parking enforcement during the summer months.
Okay. How old are you? Because this is
81.
Okay. Did you live at OLB like during World War II?
No. That wasn't Bedford then.
Are there any stories about the history of Old Orchard Beach you experienced that you would like to share?
As a firefighter, my very first big fire, I was a corpsman then in 1968, was the Bellows House on Temple Avenue. And then 1969, I think it was 69, 70, the White Way fire, which they also call the Pier fire, but
Oh, yeah.
just the White Way. All the amusements burnt down. And then the 2 years after that, it was the Palace Playland, for which I was working as a full-time firefighter then. And that was my fire. I was on duty that night.
What made you want to stay in OLB as an adult?
What made me want to stay in Old Orchard Beach?
Yeah.
My wife. I married my wife. She was a local girl. Her name was Jean. At the time, her maiden name was Jean Boisvert. And we got married in 1961. I've been here ever since.
What was one of your favorite things to do in OLB?
Favorite things to do? Well, I was involved with the fire department pretty much. Even on my days off, I would volunteer doing things for the town, for the department. In the year 2000, I was the co-chairman of the Maine State Federation of Firefighters Convention, which was held here in Orchard Beach and Saco. So basically everything. Then I had 4 girls. And that's pretty well kept me busy.
But you never look at me.
During the summer months, my wife is the curator for the museum. She's the curator for the museum, so she works at the museum full time. And during the winter months, we get ready for the summer exposition that we change just about every year or every 2 years. And that's when I work every Tuesday. I volunteer every 2 weeks. Right now, we're helping put together a book on all the churches that were in Orchard Beach. So, and then I have a 1907 Fire Society, which was the grand plan for that was to have a museum for the fire department in Orchard. But it doesn't look like that's going to be happening.
What was your favorite place to hang out in OLB?
In OOB,
Yeah.
my house, my home, I should say, and the fire department.
Is it still the same fire department as it always was? Like, is it still in the same area?
No, when I first got hired in 1971, The fire department was in the back of the town hall.
Oh.
And since 1975, we had the new fire station built, which is right next door here. And the old fire station was demolished, brought down the back portion to make a parking lot for the town hall, and then town hall was renovated. So since 1975, we were next door at the new fire station.
Were there any big landmarks that people may not know about today that you would like to share?
Any landmarks?
Yeah, that like maybe were torn down or were burnt down during the fire.
Yes, the most famous are the amusements where the Grand Victorian is today. And the Grand Victorian was built to somewhat resemble the old Velvet Hotel, which was at the time, it burnt down in 1907, which included half the downtown area burnt during that fire, 1907. What was the question? Oh, landmarks, yeah. The Palace Playland, that changed its looks, because before it burnt, there was most of the rides, a lot of the rides were inside a building, the bumpy cars, the Heyday, and a few other ones, merry-go-round was in there too. And we have a lot of some of the old hotels that were on Orchard Street, the old Orchard House, which is now just a parking lot. And across the street from that was the, I can't think of the name of the hotel. But anyway, there was a hotel there also.
Did you ever, like, when you lived in Biddeford, did you ever, like, stay?
When her grandparents passed, we ended up running the business for about 10 years, 12 years.
About, like, the rides, like, this is probably not a really good question, because you probably did, but, like, did you ever go on, like, any other rides, and, like,
Oh,
if
yes.
you went on the rides, like, now, like, how much, like, have they changed?
The rides, the most notable ride that I ever went on was the old carousel, the old merry-go-round that was burnt down in 1979, I think it was. And anyway, the dates I can't quite remember. Anyway, that was the most notable ride. And now the rides are a little expensive, more expensive than they were back then. But I have never gone on any of the newer rides.
I bet the older rides were probably better.
The older rides was, they were different. We had the big fun house, which is Noah's Ark. That was good. Then we had the coal mine, which was, you sat in a cart pulled by donkeys. That was very interesting.
What did the pier look like?
The concessions were all on one side, which was the north side of the pier, so people could actually walk along the pier and just look out the side and see the ocean heading towards Camp Palace and that stuff. And it was all businesses owned by local people. There was no franchise businesses, which I don't think there is now today. But the end of the pier was one time an aquarium. Then then they had little golfing games out there. It's changed quite a bit.
Okay, are you recording? Yes. Do you miss?
Do I miss being a kid?
Yeah.
Yes, in a way. But today, I don't know if I'd want to be a kid today. there's so much going on in the world.
Yeah.
But I had a good childhood. I enjoyed playing in the band when I was in high school. And then going out with my girl at the time, which ended up being my wife. That was back then. So.
Oh. Did you ever go to like the ballpark and like did you ever go to any concerts at the
No.
ballpark?
No, never went to any concerts because I was working the nights at the fire department.
So I don't know if you were like, I'm sure you probably were alive, but were you like, when the pier used to have like the like ball, the casino at the end of the pier, did you ever like go and dance there?
No, I didn't go there. I went, the only thing that I saw back in those days, actually I went, my first big name band that I saw was at the Palace Ballroom, which is now where the Palace Playland is. That was Duke Ellington.
Oh.
And I just went there to listen to the music. I didn't do any dancing then.
Did you ever see any of the horse races at the kite track?
No.
Have you met any famous people that have come to OOB?
Not that I can recall. There's Duke Ellington, but I didn't shake his hand or anything. I just went there to listen to his band.
Have you seen the Dummy Railroad, or did you ever ride it?
No, my mother did. She used to go from Camp Alice, where she was living, and she rode the Dummy Railroad until it came to I think Atlantic Avenue, and she got off and went to work at one of the hotels there.
Were you on the beach when any of the planes landed?
Not the first time that we had planes land on the beach after Lindbergh came, and I wasn't here for Lindbergh. They had a recreation of that landing. Okay? So they had a recreation of Lindbergh's landing, and then I think it was last year or the year before they had another recreation of the recreation of the landing of I think it was 71, 72, 73, somewhere around there. But that was the only time I seen planes land on the beach.
How did you spend your birthdays in OOB if you had any in OOB?
Home.
Huh?
Home. We didn't do any big celebrations.
What were the restaurants like downtown?
Now, compared to today,
Yeah.
the older restaurants, some of them are still around. The Bellboy, Chris's restaurant on East Grand Avenue. Then they had the restaurant, the Brunswick Hotel. And I've been to some of the local restaurants, and they were good. I enjoyed them.
So, I think you've already been over these, but what was your childhood like in OOB? Or, no, wait. Well, like,
My childhood would be a bit different.
yeah. I think,
Okay.
is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
None that I can think of. I'll tell you, because I married my wife 58 years ago. 1961. 58 years. Scary sometimes. I like Old Orchard very much. It's a nice town. I've enjoyed working here. Of course, I was born and brought up in Biddeford, so I have a little connection there. My brothers are still there. But I don't think I'd move away from Old Orchard.
No, it's a great town. I've lived here my whole life too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're gonna go down back to the library.